Oh my goodness, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna be very honest with you, the only reason I picked up this camera is because I felt called to speak on camera. Normally, I feel like the way that I feel about YouTube is that I'm not forcing a topic if it doesn't come easily to me. I feel like I already have so much going on posting short form content on Instagram and on TikTok that like YouTube I want it to feel like a natural extension where I don't have to overly edit anything, that I could just sit here and talk with you guys about anything that comes to my mind. And the reason I feel called to discuss this on camera is because I feel that the way that I personally learned is by expressing these kind of emotions. So if I'm expressing, I'm also learning in real time and just reflecting at the same time. It makes all of the information just grasp a little bit deeper within me. There are a lot of topics floating in my mind, but I feel like the most prominent one, it's in regards to a conversation I was having in my DMs yesterday. And she said, "Hi, I haven't gotten my period in over a year. I lost a few people in my life, and I think it was when the stress came in, I gained weight. What do you recommend?" I'm not necessarily going to just talk about the things that I recommend for that, but I kind of want to talk, I don't know, I guess the essence of that message, like the higher purpose of that message. When I first received that, I was like, number one, it's so crazy that people are reaching out to me regarding this topic. Not crazy as in bad, but crazy as in, wow, like really shocking. I'm really surprised, but I'm also really glad at the same time because I've been that girl. Except I have not found someone that I could reach out to and be like, "Hey, I'm going through this. What do you suggest? I know that you've been through this too." Like it has felt like such a lonely journey with everything that I've been experiencing ever since the last 6 years. Everything has been such a learning curve ever since that I've had to navigate by myself. So the fact that I got that message, it kind of made me feel like I'm really living my purpose, y'all. Even on the days that I don't feel like I'm doing enough, or the days that I'm not making high sales or blah blah blah. I feel like we as human beings love to put metrics on things. But even something as simple, being able to touch someone on that emotional level to make them feel safe to come to you regarding a journey that feels very sacred and lonely, like grief. It truly means a lot to me. Also, at the same time, I was kind of recommending to her my teas. If you don't know, I own a Dominican wellness herbal business. I created 2 teas. Well, I originally started with 1 tea. So I started with Sacred Sips, which is honestly my little baby. It's my little baby because I feel like if you have never been introduced to my brand, Sacred Sips is the best starting point. The reason why I say Sacred Sips is such a great starting point, it is because it is meant to target hormonal acne, puffiness, bloating, and most importantly, inflammation. And the reason why I bring up inflammation is because your body cannot heal if you're constantly inflamed by stress and high cortisol. I know ball when it comes to that because I have experienced that firsthand, and it has stress, grief, high cortisol has changed my body in such a way that it almost became unrecognizable. Gained a lot of weight, my cycle became irregular. My cycle also became extremely painful. By the way, you guys, it is so hot in here. So yeah, the reason I recommend Sacred Sips is because it has a lot of organic ingredients that target inflammation in all aspects, even coming down to like having an itchy scalp. I am someone that struggles with seborrheic dermatitis, and I feel like drinking my tea and being consistent with that has been one of the biggest factors, besides obviously using my medicated shampoo to calm down the inflammation on my scalp, because all roads just lead back to internal inflammation. It has ingredients like hibiscus, cinnamon, spearmint leaf, which is amazing if you struggle with PCOS. It also has lemon balm leaf, which is one of my favorite ingredients to just calm down my body. So not only did I want Sacred Sips to target specifically inflammation, but I also wanted the whole point of my brand to be a ritual that you can easily start within your routine. You guys, rituals are very important. Think about it in this way: if you are drinking your tea at the same time or around the same time every single night, it kind of signals to your body like, hey, all right, it's time for me to get ready to go to bed. Sometimes I drink it like before I shower. Sometimes I drink it after I shower. It really just depends. Oh my God, I'm talking so much with my hands. I'm sorry. But the whole point is to signal to your body that this is your time to unwind. This is your time to relax. This is your time to let things go. This is your time to call back your power and to call back your inner presence. Just being present at the moment is really important. So the fact that not only are you being present and starting a ritual, you're also getting the benefits of feeling less inflamed, which is a great starting point. The second tea that I recommended was Gentle Return, which is my other baby. I'm probably gonna say that about all of my products because I love them so much and I literally put so much effort. I feel like people probably think I just throw herbs and just give it a little mixy mix and just call it a day. No, I don't like coming out with another product, especially if I feel like one product does enough. I feel like Sacred Sips covers a lot of my bases. However, I realized that once I finally started calming inflammation and my period was coming more consistently, it was coming in hot, debilitating. It was taking me out. I was in so much pain because I also struggle with ovarian cysts. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I have PCOS. I got diagnosed after my little brother passed away. So once I finally started calming down internal inflammation, my period was coming in so debilitating that I just knew that wasn't normal. So I wanted Gentle Return to kind of make up for that. If Sacred Sips was calming inflammation, I wanted Gentle Return to help me bring minerals back into my body and to help me feel like myself again. That's the whole point of the name, by the way, Gentle Return. Because of course, not only are you treating this, but you're not treating this harshly. Everything that I make is with PCOS and having a sensitive body in mind. I have a very sensitive body, which means that I cannot try harsh protocols. If I try a harsh protocol or something that's really hard to maintain or to keep up with, something that doesn't easily integrate within my routine, I'm just not going to keep up with it. That's just the reality of my situation. And also, none of my teas are detoxes. They are food grade gentle formulas that you can drink every single day without experiencing any side effects for the most part, unless you struggle with really specific symptoms that don't have to do with any of this. I could go on and on about these products, but one of my favorite ingredients about Gentle Return is that it has red raspberry leaf. Red raspberry leaf is known for being a uterine tonic, so that means that it kind of like lightly contracts your uterus. This is why I don't recommend drinking Gentle Return while you're on your period, because just think about the fact that you are on your period and your uterus is already doing a lot of work to pump out that blood, which is essentially where the period cramps come from. So if you're adding a uterine toner, it's not going to be the best experience because it's only going to amplify it. That's why Gentle Return is considered a more cyclical formula. So you drink this before you get your period, because that way it's preparing your uterus to receive your period per se, to support it and help it come back. Because you did a lot of the work limpiando your uterus, supporting your body with inflammation, especially if you're having Sacred Sips in place at the same time. It helps your body to feel safe enough to make your period come back, which is essentially the whole point here. By the time that your period comes back with these two formulas, it doesn't feel debilitating, you feel energized, you feel good. It used to be, for me personally, it used to come to a point where my luteal phase is now my worst phase versus my period. Like my period, I used to dread my period. Every time I was in my luteal phase, I was like, oh my god, I do not want my period to come. Like I'm gonna get the period poops, I'm gonna have the migraines, I'm not gonna feel good, my cramps are gonna be debilitating, I'm gonna be in bed the whole time, I'm not gonna have energy. And it's kind of like the opposite for me, where my luteal phase makes me lack energy, it makes me tired, which is exactly, honestly, essentially what you're supposed to feel during your luteal. Not on an extreme level, of course. And now my period, I look forward to it. I'm like, I cannot wait to have my period. I cannot wait to feel like myself again, because by the time that I get my period, my inflammation leaves so quickly. I feel like myself again. I don't feel like it's a journey that I'm constantly dreading anymore. That's essentially the point of combining these two formulas within your everyday routine. Wow, that was such a spill, and I really hope that you guys found that helpful. But essentially the whole point as to me bringing it up is because I kind of wanted to bring up physical products that you could include within your routine as a starting base to help within your grief journey and your stress journey and your high cortisol journey. The other side of the spectrum within this topic is that I also told her, you kind of have to stop being strong. That's such a controversial thing to say, but I was actually discussing this topic with my cousin the other day, and I was discussing this topic with my best friend también. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to be strong anymore. Being strong came with a lot of holding in my emotions to be there for other people, pretending I was okay, not emotionally releasing and suppressing a lot of my emotions, which if you're suppressing a lot of that and you're not dealing with it, it's going to show up in your body some way, somehow. And the way that it's showing up in my body is through my hormone issues, which is partially why I have PCOS now. There are only so many products that I could recommend to you, but if your emotional world is not having the safe space to release, supplements, products in general are not gonna do a thing. So yes, girls, we have to stop being strong. You want to know why? Because feeling all spectrum of emotions and letting it out and letting it be released, whether it is you being angry, whether it is you being sad, happy, anything, showing vulnerability and feeling all spectrum of emotions is what actually makes you strong. Holding everything in, that doesn't make you strong. It's only going to lead to problems. Let's be so for real. It is okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to not be okay, especially during a time where you're going through something such as grief. First of all, grief I still feel such a taboo topic that people don't want to normalize, and I don't mean that people dying every day should be normalized. That's not the context that I'm referring to, but I'm referring to the fact that like grief is a natural part of life that we're all going to experience. We're all going to die one day, and I feel like we don't often talk about the aftermath of that, what it looks like when somebody close to you passes away. Your entire life changes. Your entire life as you once knew it won't feel familiar anymore. I saw this video recently on TikTok and it kind of made me a little bit sad, I can't even lie. It was this video of somebody saying, you don't know how lucky you are if you have a brain that still has not experienced grief. Yeah, you don't know how lucky you are, and it makes me feel so emotional. Oh my god, it makes me feel so emotional, and I want to be vulnerable. I feel like before I used to be like, ew, like don't cry on YouTube. I don't care. Like I literally don't care. Again, me expressing and letting things out is the best way that I learn and process things. If I'm feeling it, I'm gonna feel it. I'm not gonna feel ashamed about it. I remember when my little brother first passed away. I'm gonna say like the first 2 to 3 days when that happened, when I first found out. It was the most beautiful days of summer. It was so hot. The sun was out. And I remember I would step outside to walk my dog, and I just felt this anger come through me. And it made me feel so weird because I felt like I was a walking dark cloud. I was so sad. I thought I was living my worst nightmares, and that maybe if I pinched myself, I would wake up and this would not be my reality, except my biggest nightmare became my reality and I have to live through it. The first few days of August, August, the weather is beautiful. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm so mad. I'm so mad that I'm feeling this grief, and like the sun still wakes up, and like the sun still is hot for other people, and the sun is tanning people, and people are happy that they feel this warmth. And yet at the same time, I'm seeing the sun and I don't feel its warmth, and I don't feel the happiness that it's supposed to bring me, because I'm feeling this immense grief. I lost somebody that I really loved. I lost someone that I once saw every single day to now not being able to see them at all. It kind of goes back to the concept of the sun still comes up. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, the world still goes round for people. And I just remember being so upset and feeling so lonely within that journey, because at the same time, I'm going out and seeing all of these people. In my brain, I see them happy and like they're going about their day. I see people walking their dogs. I see people going to work. People have to carry on and move on with their lives. And I felt like I was living in such a pause. And again, while it was shiny and sunny outside, my world was very dark. And I was very lost, and I was very confused, and the world as I once knew it didn't feel the same. It might have looked the same on the outside, but I wasn't familiar with anything of it. So not only are you having like the shock of losing the person that you love, but you're also having the grief of mourning the life that you once had. So yeah, going back to the video that I saw on TikTok, like, you don't know how lucky you are to not experience that until you experience it. That's the most unfortunate thing of it all. And and through all of this, I've also learned that just because somebody has not experienced grief in the way that I have experienced grief doesn't mean that life isn't hard for them. Yeah, I might have seen people on such a warm, sunny day during one of my most hardest times of my life living their regular life, but I don't know if that was them living their regular life, just like they don't know that I was walking my dog, but I was broken inside. So you don't really know what somebody else is going through. So having grace is really important through this all. I feel like many things could be true at once. Anyway, I don't want to be strong anymore. I want to be allowing myself to feel everything that wants to come through me. And at the same time, I want to be able to discuss this on YouTube and not feel like every video has to be planned out and every video has to like say this and mention that. It can get so overwhelming. Sometimes I just want to yap, bro. Like sometimes I have nothing to say, but everything to say at the same time. I guess I just wanted to make this video to remind you that if you're feeling any of these emotions, and if you're feeling grief, and if you are going through a hard time in your life, prioritizing your nervous system and making you the priority, making your inner peace a priority, making grounding yourself a priority. I used to think that making happiness a priority was, well, should have been a thing, but happiness is not really my priority. I feel like grounding myself is my priority, because if I'm grounded, I'm allowing myself to feel it all. And you guys, feeling it all is so good. I feel like we tend to think, oh my god, I'm so emotional if I'm feeling it all. Isn't that the whole point of being human? Feeling every single emotion is how you learn. And while it might feel a little bit stressful to feel stressed, yes, it might feel stressful to feel stressed, instead of asking yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Ask yourself, what is life trying to teach me? What is the universe trying to teach me at this moment? What is God trying to teach me at this moment? Whichever higher power you feel like you resonate most with, that's also a lesson that I'm trying to learn through this all. And I'm gonna end it with that. I feel so grounded and relieved right after this chat, which just lets me know that I was meant to be doing this. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Comment any interesting takes you have on any of these many topics that I brought up during today's conversation. You know, I would love to be that person that would tell you same time next week, but I'm not that person. I'm just not that person, and I don't want to limit myself in that way. I'll see you when I see you. Anyway, you're beautiful. I love you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, and life. Bye.